Another penguin video. Another new tool for us to learn. As up here, we've got this swappy arrow thing. And we go into exchange. Immediately locked into level selection here. And we can start with Involution. So we've got a grey penguin with the swap. And we have swapped. Yes, swaps when hit. So now we've got to swap around in a way that will make him get to his exit. And oops. So we can do the swap and then we can do the swap again to be in the place we need to be. And success. The walrus is waiting in Neli. So now we've got to pick up the swap. And we've got a case of a green gate, so whoever is not the green walrus, if they go over there, they're just gonna get stuck. This is his own private exit, no one else gets to use it. Meanwhile, we have to do the swaps so that the blue penguin can go where he needs to go. Now, the question is obviously, he hits him, he gets the swap. But if the yellow walrus hits anyone, yeah, the swap doesn't happen. So it's only when the carrier of this swap tool gets hit is that it takes effect. The important part is also that when the swap happens, the animals immediately stop, right? They don't continue going. So that means we can get them into a specific location. And this way, we can finish this level. Oh, this red walrus in this level section actually has a little rocket on him, so he's quite restricted in his movement right now. Although we could use him to grab a fish if we wanted to. Anyway, we also got someone locked into Switcheroo, which honestly sounds like a good name for this item. Well, what happens if we... Well, now we have a bomb and the Switcheroo, and of course bomb into Switcheroo is switch, but Switcheroo into bomb is explode. We actually don't need to finish here. What we're trying to achieve is getting that fish out through that wall, so we have to explode there by hitting the red penguin just right. So this way, the blue is under the red, and when he hits, they jump out and the fish is consumed. Yes, officially this tool is called Swap, but Switcheroo is such a great name for it. Next we can go to Permute. We've got one penguin already with the Switcheroo and one free Switcheroo for us to pick up. Now, if he goes down, he gets stuck, but if we hit him, he can still Switcheroo out of there. And then of course red is stuck, but when we finish that's going to be fine. But I assume there are more steps because this walrus needs out, but for him to be able to get out, he will need to be able to swap with both of those guys. So I guess he's the one that needs the extra Switcheroo tool. So then we can swap him there. Oh, but I think we need to swap him there before we need to place him there before the blue penguin comes down, because then, yes, they swap like this. And they swap like this into their spots and the walrus just comes out and everyone's happy. Interchange is next. Lots of switcheroos here and one mallet with all the fishes. So if someone gets in there, they eat all the fishes, but they get a mallet, which could be useful for getting the walruses out, but there are actually colored gates, so I assume that is how they're going to be getting out. But no, instead, what we may want the mallet for is getting someone unstuck from the storm here. The yellow penguin is a spare, so he's not needed here. But we need to use him to get the green guy towards the exit he wants to be at. We can swap him like this with the blue walrus, so he can come here, get the mallet and all the fish, so he's not exactly useless. He's just not got his own exit. Now the red can swap with the blue, so both the walruses are ready to exit. But now we also need to swap the red and the yellow. Interestingly, because they gave us the mallet as if we were going to mallet out of this storm, but no. The switcheroo appears to have precedence over the mallet, so the mallet did not activate. And so red can exit, and success. What is next there? The walrus, he can only either send himself out or we can mallet him and get him to get out, and then the floor has been broken, so the access to that side of the levels is broken too. Instead, we might be able to go down and come across this way. And we can use the gray penguin to do this kind of swaps in order to move up. And we're onto obstruction. So red penguin already happy in this exit, but we need to get the green guy out of here somehow. He cannot leave because his gate does not lead to an exit out of the map. And the only tool we get is the switcheroo. Is this something to do with switching across the gates? Yes. Yes. Launch by swapping through a gate. The way we're gonna get that done, we need to get the penguin and the walrus on two sides of this gate up here in order for them to drag each other out like this. So the penguin's up here, the walrus comes out from the bottom, and now when the penguin hits, the walrus goes out, and the penguin can go back to his exit. Next, we can go to Stwap. We've got a couple teleporters and one switcheroo penguin. Are we gonna be doing some teleporter switcheroos? Okay, yeah, that got him out of here because him swapping means he got onto that teleporter. And that's what we want to do because, again, the swap immediately stops, which means he wouldn't fall out of his exit. But the extra step is going to be that the blue penguin needs to then end up in his exit as well. Which means what we're looking to do is have the red penguin stand in the blue exit while the blue penguin stands on the teleporter. So that gets the red into this exit. But that's not all of it. This way, however, that should work. There we go. And next we go into timing. We've got, again, a series of connected teleporters. There is an infinite loop possible, but there is a fish we need to grab, so doing the infinite loop like this is not going to help because it will only shoot him down, and that's not what we want because the fish is over there. I wonder if there is some sort extra teleporter switcher situation. If the swap animal stands on the exit and he comes out, okay, he still ends up launching them, right? There isn't some sort of when you come out of the teleporter, you hit the swap animal and then they end up doing a different behavior. But maybe if we come from this way, yes, they can be swapped from one teleporter into the next, as we were already doing. If I use the red penguin to block the orange teleporter exit, the walrus is just gonna end up stopping there. And then we can go up and swap this way. He gets launched onto the fish, all is good. And then we just need to come through the teleporter and the red penguin can finish. And that's done. If we do a bit more swapping, we got cushion. We've got a gray penguin that swaps, and we will need to swap him, but then we will also need to swap him back to his exit. We've got a blue penguin that can get to mallet, and I think the red penguin is just here to stop him falling out of the level. And then, yes, the mallet is gonna be needed because what needs to happen is to go through, crash through the wall, and end up in his exit. But also there's a fish, which means the way we have to get this red penguin out of here is going to have to be in a way that he gets the fish. So we're gonna need to take the gray penguin on a little trip here to first get him into this corner so that when the blue guy picks up the hammer, no one gets hurt, no one falls out, everyone is doing okay. Next step is we need to get the red penguin out in a way that lets him eat the fish. So I think this also needs to correspond with us basically setting up so that after that the blue penguin can get into his exit without needing any extra help. So I think he's gonna need to swap with that penguin there, and from here we can knock the red penguin out. He gets his fish. We do the swap and then we go up and everyone's where they need to be. The swap does disarm the hammer a little bit. We can from here go into Vanguard. Looks like the red penguin is set up here so that he would fall out a lot, and our blue penguin will need to basically act as a safety guard to keep him in the level. However, even he is not able to avoid falling out when there is no wall at all. Here our only option is to give the blue penguin the swap tool, right? Because the red penguin, wherever he goes, he's just gonna keep falling out of this level. He cannot help himself. So we're just gonna have to carefully be swapping them around until we're in a situation where the red can swap into his exit. If we get him around this corner, then he will be aligned and it is done. If we get one penguin blocking here, we can get into displacement. We need to get the walrus out, but right now he's only capable of swapping. And that makes a problem because the mallet does not work when the swap tool is engaged. So we did learn that if the animal cannot enter the next tile, they will be launched with the swapping. But obviously here we do not have anything to cause the fact that you would not be able to be swapped. Additionally, if I look in my journal, we get knowledge acquired for each level, and I'm actually missing one piece of knowledge. But then I don't know whether it's a piece of knowledge that I am going to acquire in this level, or is a piece of knowledge I was supposed to learn somewhere else, and therefore I just don't know what to do yet. So maybe in this case, we can look into something else and see if we can unlock whatever the knowledge is that we need. There are some extra multi-interactions things that can happen here, because if we hammer the rocket, then the rocket gets into a contact with the swap. The rocket gets cancelled and the swap occurs instead. So even if he was off to be launched, it can still be cancelled, and we probably have to use some of that in additional ways. I also wonder if, we're gonna be using something like the pushback from the rocket, but it gets cancelled through the swaps. If we get the rocket and the green penguin aligned, then we can get into contact. Now we've got the switch and the spring, and once again the switch cancels the spring. So we do not bounce if the switch is present. Because that means we can move next to a wall with the spring. But it means we cannot use the other animal for the single tile bounce back. So we want to get our penguins aligned so that red guy can be here. The swap guy comes up there, and now the red penguin can hop back into his exit. But that's not all of it, because after that, he still needs to be able to get where he needs to be. If we swap them first like this, he can go down, and then he bounces back. And that's contact done. We can bring the rocket guy down here so that he can push us back into another one of our letter levels. Do we have everything we need to solve this? Well, we get canes and the swap and a fish that needs to be eaten. So in this level, we can bring up item throwing because there is places where we're able to do that, but we have to find the right configuration of items so that we can actually get where we need to go, because with the storms, the canes are actually a pain. So it feels like what we want to do is really utilize the ability to throw the items around. Because yes, the blue penguin cannot have the cane here, because that will stop him going all the way to the other side where he needs to get his exit. The red penguin then is stuck here with 2 canes, but in theory we could trade it for the swap tool, maybe, because our other opportunity to throw item is here, and then if we bring the blue penguin around, he can go all the way and he can throw the swap tool over the wall, which then lets the red penguin have it. He can swap with the walrus. The walrus can then travel along, get in here, just get out and get the fish. And because the blue penguin has the cane, he's able to exit as well. And that's R for a really hard level. We've got to do some more rocket shenanigans to reach the levels up the top. We also have to do more flying shenanigans to hop over the wall, but that's a bonus thing. So if we get the guy swapped right here, we can get into extension. So we've got a rocket penguin here, and he's the one that needs to get to his exit. So I assume we will be using the swap tool to neutralize the rocket and stop that blue guy from exiting the level when he's not supposed to. But for that, we will need a bunch of steps to get everyone into the right positions. Because we can get them around like this. He can swap there, but that's not exactly what we want. And that's the additional difficulty here, because if we swap them like this, the walrus gets pushed out and therefore he can't help the red penguin to stop in that exit. So we want to do this swap and then this swap. But then how does the rocket penguin get to where he needs to be? Well, because the rocket gets in the way by pushing people about if we're too close to them, we need to make an arrangement, and in the top row basically, where the rocket's in the middle, and when he moves, he will push the yellow walrus into the exit, so that now the red penguin is able to swap to also stop in the exit. The yellow walrus, just get out of here, we don't need you anymore. And now the swap will complete this extension. And so now still we have displacement, but apparently I still have not learned what this extra rule is that is needed here, but I guess I just learned it in here because everything else other than the bonus level behind the wall is done, and I would not presume is the bonus level that's going to be required to learn this. So whatever it is, we're learning it in here. Ah, there we go. Launch swap animal by hitting another animal into it and blocking its new location with the hammer. So what's happening is that the hammer hits, he gets pushed to swap, but when the walrus comes through to swap, the hammer penguin has moved into that location and therefore he needs to be launched, and that's how we get him out of here. Wow, so, yeah, some of those rules are quite complex because yes, it means multiple things are moving into the same location at the same time through multiple interactions happening. Well, so now we've got the bonus level. With everything we have here, it might be possible to use some of those rocket hammer swap rules in order to get over that wall from the right side, I think. But it will require us to bring over a few of the items. We can bring the rocket with the swapping. So I think what we're looking to do is put a swap penguin to the right of the level and then put a rocket to the right of them, and then when the rocket launches they're gonna jump over the wall. So now if the rocket shoots there, yes, we get into Diabolical. Oh boy, oh boy. Isn't this going to be a treat? Yes, lots of interconnected teleporters, one swap tool, and two penguins that need to get to their exits. I assume the walrus is here to assist before he actually goes out of here. So yes, there's lots of swapping happening as we go into teleporters. Lots of opportunities for infinite loops or launching ourselves when we don't want to. So yes, definitely Diabolical. Almost every move in this level feels like a trap. The lack of walls obviously is concerning. The teleporters are set up in such a way that we can either fall out the level or get into infinite loops. We have the one swap penguin, but yes, if we make a wrong move with him, he ends up at the end of a teleporter. He can't move anywhere now. And if anyone else goes into the teleporter, he gets launched. Going through the green teleporter, we can sort of get them aligned here. And then we get the teleporter swap mechanic. But we're still kind of stuck here. Yeah, again, going through, we're getting launched. We can get the blue penguin to go through first if we do this. But then he just also gets into that position where he would get launched. Potentially move the walrus out of this teleporter. No, that's not helping. But then we can get through here. The red penguin's at the top. Did we want to not swap them first? So if we go like this, we can move him here. Then if the blue penguin goes through... I know, because then they don't swap, right? Because the way the red penguin was and blue penguin were able to get around. Or actually this does work, because that gets a blue penguin here. But then all we can do is the walrus gets in here and those two cannot swap positions. So not quite. And so do we want the blue penguin to go first? He gets in there. Red penguin goes here, because now if we put the walrus down, those two can swap. Then red goes down, those two are here. And for the walrus, we actually get options. We can send him off the side, Or we can get him infinite looping, you know, exit in style. And well, yes, this level truly felt diabolical. But that's the last one here. Now, we need to, of course, complete the exchange. The green penguin is going to get to his exit through something we have already done here once, which is that the rocket will need to push him out the level. So if we do this, the rocket is able to go through and push him. Then we still need to eat this fish. And then the rocket goes through, eat this fish, and the exchange is complete. And this brings us back to top level accumulation. So there is a level above the yellow penguin here, but he can't just hop into it. One of the level sections requires us to launch ourselves into the purple teleporter in order to even get anywhere. Okay, we've unlocked a new entry. Okay, opening the door, the floor door will drop the teleporter. Oh, because I was looking at the one at the bottom, but yes, the one at the top, both the penguin and the teleporter were dropped. But if we stand here and get this guy up here, we can send him onto this teleporter and he gets into the vault, which of course is another level selection with multiple items. So I assume we're getting really deep now into all of the possible interactions between the various items. Well, to start with, they want us to leap over some stuff. We've got a single penguin with a rocket and a bunch of fishes. And of course, well, he can jump like this because obviously the rocket only takes you over a wall. So if we do this, we're able to hop about like this. But that's not quite it because we can't move there. But we can go this side and hop around here. Get down through this. Eat the fish. So it's now double backing on ourselves lets us basically move one square up and down. We can hop over like this, eat all the fish, go back, and there we go. We've leapt over all the stuff. We ate all the fish. So we can continue with this penguin. We can bounce into Derail. And here we're doing more swaps with the launching because this guy will need to be launched up top there. So I think we actually want to get them to the bottom of the level. Because then we can drag them over the walls. Or well, we can make the blue guy jump over the walls. So if they swap around like... I think if they swap around like this, then if he gets dragged over the wall, he ends up jumping into the red exit. And if we drag him again, he ends up dragged into his own exit. And we have successfully derailed some things. But now, for now, we have to return to get into penetrate. Yes, this, I think, will be to do with more of the fact that, yes, we can drag animals over the walls with magnets. Similarly to the rockets being able to push through walls, the magnets can push through the walls. But that's not all of it, because we've used up that top wall and that was not what we should have done. Instead, we can pull that guy through over here to launch him. Then the wall is not wasted. So that when they are on their way back, the walrus can exit and the blue penguin can come through his own exit. Well, now we've got a rocket on a green penguin, but that actually means he can hop over the wall and land on this mallet, for example. Hit this guy, make him go pick up a bomb. get a magnet and then the mullet goes over there, right? We're gonna be doing a lot of tricks. Send him out. We can get into Starboard. Here we've got a cane and a bomb, but because we've got a cane and a bomb and lots of walls, what we're going to be looking into is, yes, the configuration in which we're able to explode the bomb but still cause them to not fly out of the level, which probably means we want him to go over there. This way, and then if we approach from this side, yes, he gets into his exit. From here we get into correction. So in theory everyone is where they need to be, but someone needs to eat those fishes, and if they eat the fishes by going in there like this, unfortunately the gray penguin gets pulled out of the level. And actually it looks like we can do a little bit of hopping around with them, where we, yes, correct what we've done and then go through to our exit. We're still able to just go into Overshoot. Now we get a mallet and a spring. And we're gonna be doing more wall hopping in order to get the blue guy into his exit. I think he does need that spring, but the way he's going to get it is not him just going to go there because you can't, right? He can get pushed over the wall and then he can grab it. And then he's in here with it. So now we just need to use the hammer to hop him over the correct wall. So from here, we can hit him from the top, and then he just bounces back to his exit. So I think for now, that's it for the green, because he can open that doorway, but then he is stuck. But we can of course switch to yellow to at least solve crossing. We've got double springs, but blue is basically stuck in here. What is his role in this level, right? Well, I assume someone needs to hop over the wall to press button B, and that feels like that's going to be the blue guy. So he can jump out of here, and obviously because the gate is not a solid wall, he ends up not landing until the next part. So once he's hopped over here, he can also jump back by one to here. And then with the help of the red penguin, he should be able to jump to B, close this gate, so that the red penguin can hop over and get to his exit. And that's crossing. Yellow is kind of stuck in there as well because he doesn't have any tools to get out. So I assume we need to reset and try some other combinations. There is more leaping, hopping and vaulting to do. But we're gonna get back into it next time. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling about all of those tool interactions we've been getting into. And if you enjoy my content, consider liking or subscribing. Thank you to channel members for supporting the channel, and I'll see you soon on another adventure.